Today, we're diving into a powerful story about tearing down old beliefs. But here's a twist. It's not about destruction for its own sake. It's about using the rubble to build something new, something stronger. We're going to explore this through two incredible parables about a figure named Bonafice, and it all kicks off with one single dramatic act of defiance.
Okay, let's jump right into the action. I want you to picture the scene. A man, Bonafice, stands before this giant felled oak tree, the sacred oak of Thor. It's the center of a people's universe, and as they stare in stunned silence, he shouts this. The air is just electric with tension. You have to wonder, what on earth happens next?
So the oak has fallen, and this isn't just about a tree hitting the ground. No way. This single violent act is a catalyst. It's designed to literally shatter a worldview and force a confrontation with the very foundation of an entire culture's faith.
I mean, just imagine what that must have looked like. The source of their spiritual strength, the object of their greatest fear, is now just a pile of wood on the ground. The people are frozen. Not angry, not yet, but just paralyzed in this profound, silent shock. Their whole belief system has been physically broken right in front of their eyes.
And this brings us to the next part of the story, a forest of lies. You see, Bonafice isn't just some random destroyer, he's a deconstructor. He's here to pull back the curtain and expose what he sees as the great lie at the very heart of their worship.
Bonafice's argument here is just devastatingly simple. Where the people saw this all-powerful God, he shows them the cold, hard reality. The oak was rotten, completely hollow on the inside. He's arguing that their God wasn't a source of real power at all. It was just an illusion, held up by their own imagination and, more importantly, their own fear. And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. It's the core of his message. He's telling them their entire faith was built on being afraid of natural things they didn't understand. The wood of a tree, the sound of thunder. And that fear, well, it trapped them. It kept them living in what he calls a forest of lies. Okay, but this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. It's not just about tearing things down. It's about this incredible creative transformation. We're about to see how Bonafice starts building from the ruins.
Can you imagine hearing this? He turns to this stunned crowd and says, "Your God is dead, but he is not useless." This is such a radical pivot. Instead of burning the wood or just casting it aside as something worthless, he sees its potential. The remains of their fallen God aren't trash. They're the raw materials for something completely new. So, how exactly does this work? Well, it's almost like an alchemical process, right? Step 1, you have to face the truth. The old way is broken, it's hollow. Step 2, you salvage what's still valuable. You take the reverence, the focus, all that energy people poured into the old symbol. And then, step 3, you use the very timber of their former fear to build a new place of safety, a new shelter, a church.
And this, right here, is the central idea of the first parable. The big takeaway is this. True strength isn't measured by what you can tear down. It's measured by what you can create from the pieces that are left behind. The real victory, the greatest victory, is transformation.
But the story isn't over, not by a long shot. The people's fear, you see, it runs deeper than just one tree. And that brings us to our second parable, which introduces this amazing new symbol for resilience, the tree that laughs.
So even with a new church built from their old God, a fundamental fear is still there. The people are still terrified of winter, of death, of that natural cycle of decay. They're convinced that all life has to surrender to the cold eventually.
And this is where Bonafice points to a small evergreen tree. He holds it up, not as a new God, but as a symbol of what he calls a higher law. This little tree doesn't just put up with winter. Its constant green is a total act of defiance. It basically laughs in the face of all the death around it.
So you've got these two totally different ways of believing, side by side. The old faith was seasonal. It rotted and died with the leaves. It completely gave into the cold. But this new symbol, it represents a life that's constant, a life that doesn't wait for permission from the spring to keep on living. It offers hope, even in the absolute darkest of time.
So let's pull all of this together. What does it all add up to? Well, it's more than just a new symbol. It's a completely new way of looking at the world. It is a new law for living. This is the ultimate shift right here. The old law was all about passive acceptance. It was basically a crutch to help you deal with your fear of winter. But the new law is active. It's a command to live, to hope, to be resilient,
and to find life even when everything around you seems to be dying. It's a huge move from a faith built on fear to one built on enduring, defiant hope.
And that leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. I mean, these parables aren't just ancient stories, right? They're a powerful metaphor for change in our own lives. So the question for all of us is, what are the dead oaks in our lives? What are those hollow beliefs or fears that we cling to? And maybe more importantly, if we found the courage to finally face them, could their ruins become the very foundation for building something new and something so much stronger?